Hey, what's up, peeps? This is Julian Williams here at the distance. I have a video for you guys tonight. This is a video that just came to mind after a Facebook post on a page on a boxing page last night. And it was interesting. It was a picture. It was Roy Jones and it was Mike Tyson and there was Jay Prince standing in between them. Also, I know that there was an article that came out with Andre Ward stating that Roy Jones had turned down $40 million to face Roy Jones in 2003. So I came up with this video idea of what if Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fought in 2003? Here's the first question. What were you doing at that time in 2003? Me, I was in high school. I was a teenager. I remember February 22nd of 2003, Mike Tyson versus Clifford Etienne. It was an HBO broadcast. No, it was a show. I thought it was a Showtime broadcast. I remember the Jay-Z concert was like an hour before, and I will openly admit I watched wrestling, and I did watch SmackDown that night. And I remember it was the return of The Rock, like when he first became Hollywood Rock. Wrestling fanatics know what I'm talking about, but it was kind of a doubleheader. But me, I actually watched both programs. But I remember like 8 o'clock when the Tyson fight came on, I was right in front of the screen to watch the fight against Clifford Etienne. That was the infamous fight where the same week he got the tattoo on his face. So I remember that specifically. I remember me and my father in the car talking, and we were talking, and my dad was just talking about, man, it was real stupid for him to get that tattoo. The week of the fight. He's not. He's like, what the fuck was he thinking? And so I remember that fight. I remember it not. Of course, it didn't last long. It lasted a few seconds, and it was over. And on the flip side of it, I believe it was March 1st, about a week or so later, Roy Jones fought John Ruiz and won the WBA heavyweight championship. And that's another fight I remember from 2003. I actually, from my own personal history of the fight, I remember I was dead asleep and my dad woke me up to watch it, because those who know me best know that I grew up a diehard Roy Jones fan. Roy Jones couldn't do anything wrong in my eyes when I was a young, biased teenager. And best believe I remember when Roy got beat by Tarver. And I remember being pissed off and I hated Tarver. It's not the case now, but that was just how it was at the time. So that's my own personal history of 2003 at this time. My own opinion is, after those two fights, Clifford Etienne versus Mike Tyson, when he got the first round knockout, and when Roy Jones moved up from light heavyweight to heavyweight and won against John Ruiz, it's one of those things. Looking back in hindsight, it was no time but the present. That would have been the perfect time, if they were going to make that fight, to make it happen. Roy Jones versus Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson. My question is, do you think Roy would have wanted to smoke at that time? I don't know, but it was like, to me, I thought it was the perfect setup for this fight. And not only that, the heavyweight division was kind of in a weird stage. Lennox Lewis was on the way out. Vladimir had just lost. You had, James Toney. James Toney had moved up after the fight against Yurov to fight Holyfield. Holyfield was on the way out. It was just an interesting time for that division. And I know that Roy had his deal with HBO, and Mike Tyson was on Showtime. But the year before, Showtime, Showtime and HBO were able to come together for the Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson fight. So I mean, for another fight like this, I mean, I'm sure they would have been able to come together, especially for this kind of fight. Like, it's just an interesting period to me. I just thought with Vladimir, getting knocked out by Corey Sanders in a couple rounds. Um, I believe Oleg Moskaev was coming up at the time as well. He ended up becoming the titleist later on. Just it was just an interesting time, and then to think of, like, what if that fight happened? That fight would have actually been huge. I don't think it would have put up astronomical numbers like the Lennox Lewis Mike Tyson. It probably would have done a little bit below, but I believe that would have been a huge fight at the time if both fighters had signed off on it. if the fight happened, I mean, even though Mike Tyson was past his prime, I would have went with Tyson in that fight if I had to make a prediction. But it just seemed as if like after 2003, Tyson's career went into. I mean, Tyson's career was like the ETN fight was his last win, and that was the beginning of the end for Tyson. For Roy Jones, that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the end as well because he went off and he fought Antonio Tarver. And I respect that because I know at the press conference Tarver, was talking shit and he got Roy Jones to, finally, give him this fight, for the light heavyweight championship because Tarver was a beast back then too. Let's not forget that Tarver was a force to be reckoned with. And I hate to admit that, 16 years later, because like I said, I hated Tarver. But Roy, went back down in weight, and the debate is if he never went down in weight, how would Roy have fared as a heavyweight? First and foremost, Roy I think was like 190 pounds against Ruiz. He so I mean going against a Mike Tyson, I just think that Tyson would have been too big if Roy wanted to smoke, but I don't think he did. But it's an interesting thought. It's something I thought about today. After seeing the post, who do you think would have won that fight? How do you think it could have even played out if it could have? Because in reality, it could have happened. It really could have happened. You know, what do you guys think? Me, I think Tyson probably I think Tyson would have caught Roy. Probably would have cut off the ring. I thought and just knock him the fuck out, possibly. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe Roy. I don't know. I don't think he could have taken a full heavyweight punch from Mike Tyson. So before I say some stupid shit, I'm just gonna leave it at that. What do you guys think? Anyway, I got some more videos coming for you guys this week. Be sure to tune in. I appreciate you guys watching and giving me another chance again. I hope you guys have a good night. Like I said, I'll be back again this week. Peace. That was The Distance. My name is Julian Williams. I'm out of here.